Hello there, friends. Hello, and welcome to your energy forecast for the full moon in Capricorn happening on July 10th, 2025. So, first things first, you might notice that I am alone. I am solo doing this moon energy forecast. And I just wanted to kind of let you all know that that will be the case moving forward for the time being. I actually do have an announcement about videos throughout the summer, but we'll talk about that at the end of the video today. Sarah, my amazing collaborator and colleague, and the astrologer to my intuitive, she has taken on a different job and is moving in another direction. So, our moon energy forecasts moving forward are really going to focus on what I am getting intuitively from the energy of the moon. I do look into some of the astrology, but as I've stated many times and will continue to state moving forward, I am not an astrologer. I am an intuitive medium who loves astrology, but I never want to claim to be an astrologer. I do not have the training in that. I am just self-taught. But what I do is I really connect in with the energies of the moon and share about those energies for every new moon and full moon. Specifically, I like to share about eclipses as well. And sometimes there's some other astrological transits that are, lending some of the energy into that moon, in which case I'll address them. But really, we're talking about a moon forecast coming from an intuitive, someone who is connecting intuitively with the energy of the moon herself. So just want to make sure that is clear as we move forward. But let's get back into this Capricorn full moon that is happening on July 10th. So let's talk about the theme of the Capricorn full moon first. The theme of this Capricorn full moon is release false responsibilities. And what I mean by that is let go of, notice yourself. First of all, illuminate and notice what responsibilities are you holding on to that were actually never yours to begin with? What burdens are you bearing that were never yours to hold? That's one of the meanings of this theme of release false responsibilities. And then another meaning of this theme is also for you to kind of look at where you do have true, authentic responsibilities, things that are truly your responsibility, and to understand that those are actually rooted in love, purpose, devotion, which helps us shift from this energy of like, ugh, it's all such a burden into, oh, actually, it's kind of a blessing. That's another meaning of this release false responsibilities as well. And then there's also the theme of while each of us and like healing and happiness is really an inside job for every single person. That's a big theme of this full moon. There's also this recognition that like we're also not an island. Part of taking accountability for our own healing and happiness is to understand when is it the best time to ask for help and support and to release any limiting beliefs we have around that. So some of the themes of this Capricorn full moon moving in. A little bit about Capricorn energy. So Capricorn is the cardinal earth sign of the zodiac. And Capricorn is known for being so extremely dedicated, devoted, structured, very ambitious. If we think about Cancer, because Capricorn and Cancer are in polarity to each other, they're like the sister signs in the zodiac. And if Cancer is kind of that archetypal mother energy, Capricorn is known as kind of that archetypal father energy. So if Cancer has more of that flowing yin energy, Capricorn is going to have more of that structured yang energy. And we see that very much with that Cancer Capricorn axis. So with Capricorn, there is ambition, there is drive, there is motivation. And on the shadow side, there can also be a lot of kind of overworking oneself, a bit of martyrdom, and definitely a lot of holding all the weight, holding all that sense of weight, even when it's not theirs to hold. And there's that sense kind of control. One of the things that Capricorn energy needs to look at is understanding that care is not control. Those are not the same things. And that when we are wanting to have control, is that really a true reflection of our love and our care for whatever it is we are trying to control in that moment? So, this full moon in Capricorn really comes to help us illuminate, as all full moons do, and release, helping us to illuminate where we might be holding on to some responsibilities, some burdens that actually we can kind of just be like, that's not mine, and take it off. That's one thing. So if you're noticing that you're kind of purging in your life right now, like you're purging some things that you're like, actually, no, thank you. I do not want to hold that anymore, or I don't even want to take that on. That is you definitely feeling the energies of this full moon in Capricorn. And then there's also this recognition of like, is there another way I can look at some of my responsibilities? The things that are weighing me down, are they truly weighing me down, or are they also trying to lift me up? Because when we look at the responsibilities that are truly ours, most of the time those things are very much rooted in something we truly desire, which is why we now have this kind of commitment to it, which is what leads to the responsibility very often. So if we recognize that, hey, this thing that I always said I wanted is now here, and now there is like work and things I have to do to maintain that thing, we can remember, wait, I wanted this. I created this. This is actually in alignment with me. And that really helps us shift out of the burden of responsibility into the blessing of responsibility, because it's kind of a little bit like the glass half empty, half full. It's kind of our perspective, our perception of how we look on it, which also speaks a little bit to the energy we had for the new moon in Cancer, which is all about our perception and our perspective and how we're looking at things. So we have a little bit of that with this Capricorn full moon as well when it comes to how we're looking at our own responsibilities. Now, as I mentioned at the start of this video, I am not an astrologer. I am an intuitive and a medium and a nature connector and a moon messenger. But there is one important astrological transit that is flavoring the energies of this lunation, of this Capricorn full moon. And it's a pretty big one. And so I do want to share a little bit about it. So 3 days before this full moon in Capricorn, which is happening on July 10th, so on Monday, July 7th, we have the planet of revolutionary change and disruption, Uranus, moving into Gemini, which is all about communication, transportation, technology, how we think, and connection. This is a kind of a big deal change, and it's one of the larger astrological transits happening this year, one of the outer planets moving signs that we tend to have kind of collective shifts with. And so this is one of those times. Now, if you follow astrology, you've probably already heard from many astrologers out there some of the history around Uranus and Gemini, and how, when you look at it historically, it does seem to match up with other periods of time in American history where we were at war. So if you look at some of the periods of time, and it wasn't, for example, the American Revolutionary War, the American Civil War, and World War II. Portions of all of those wars occurred at the time when when Uranus was in Gemini. And one of the things we look at with astrology is the history of what happened in transits similar to what we're seeing, because some of the energies at play are similar, the same, right? Obviously, things are a little bit different. So I am not sharing that in any way to fearmonger or make you think that like I see any new war or feel any new war coming. My personal opinion is I actually think we have been in a war of information and attention, and yes, aggression as well, for many years now. And what I'm seeing with Uranus and Gemini is kind of a little bit more of the same, probably even more drastic kind of revolutionary type shifts to bring in more fated changes. I don't know what those are yet. I am not an intuitive who works very much in seeing or predicting the future. I'm really, really good at reading the present. But that's kind of what I'm feeling with this Uranus and Gemini. Now, on a personal level, Uranus and Gemini offers us a really beautiful opportunity to kind of create some very disruptive, revolutionary, and clarifying changes in our own mindset, in our own way of thinking, because Gemini has a lot to do with the way we think, how we think about things, how we communicate about things. And so that's actually nice. That can be something that can be very beneficial. I know personally, I've been struggling a little bit with clarity, and that could be, perimenopause. It could be many, many things. But I'm definitely looking forward to some shifts of energy, a little bit new, like this kind of winds of change of energy coming in with Uranus moving into Gemini. And when we think about the theme of this Capricorn full moon, which is this theme of releasing your responsibilities, there is this sense of Uranus moving into Gemini, offering us this beautiful opportunity to see our responsibilities to be really about our alignment and not about control. And we can also look at our responsibilities as things that are really about holding our own accountability to ourselves and also holding other people accountable for themselves as well. So, that's what I wanted to share about the energies of the Capricorn full moon. For more, please, please, please check out the Capricorn full moon blog, which you can find linked below. And if you're wanting some energy, some support, some ways to work with others with the energy of this Capricorn full moon, well, that's what the Intuitive Moon community is all about, my friends. And we are meeting for our full moon in Capricorn circle, which is we always meet over Zoom. That will be on July 10th at noon. So we're actually meeting on the date of the full moon. If you want to join, you can follow the links down in the comments below. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, one other thing before I go into the whole spiel of the ending of the video. I did want to share that I will be taking a break from making moon videos from now, probably for an entire moon cycle, probably not coming back until the end of August before we head into eclipse season. That's probably when I'm going to be coming back with moon videos. It's summertime. We're going to be traveling. My kids are on a different schedule, and I just find it hard to make these videos while all of that is going on. So, please know you can also find more information. I will still be sharing the moon blog. I'll be still be sharing and creating smaller content pieces around the moon, and you can find all of that over on my Instagram or over in the Intuitive Moon community. So please join us there in the Intuitive Moon community, where I'll be sharing way more, and you can find that down below. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for being here, friends. I'll see you in hopefully a month and a half time or so. And I hope you have a beautiful full moon in Capricorn. Please like, subscribe, and share all the things. Thank you, friends. Bye.